Here we are, July 13th. I can't believe it's like halfway over, summer's halfway over. So we are going to be hitting it hard. So there's a lot of different areas, obviously a lot of Copilot stuff. There is even a lot of Teams stuff in general that have come out recently. So I'm going to hit the high points here just so you guys get a chance to see what's going on and things that, that you need to be ready for. So we're going to kick off. We're going to start with OneDrive. So there's a new feature mid-July to late July coming out here that is really that you can use OneDrive. If you do a lot of stuff inside OneDrive, you're going to have another capability where you can actually deal with document library views inside those libraries as well, right? So you can access, create, switch them around if you need to, manage those document library views within your OneDrive area. So you don't have to be jumping into all those different SharePoint sites. You can do all that stuff right from OneDrive, which in general, I think that's a great idea because of how disparate all those different SharePoint sites happens to be. So keep that in mind, no action needed, but make sure your users know what's going on and they're trained and they understand what's happening there. All right, a different experience, and this is on Teams in general. It's out now. If you've not seen this, when you go and minimize Microsoft Team meeting like this, right? So you can put it down. It's actually going to give you 2 different ways of being displayed. It's going to actually give you more information specifically. So this update will literally allow you to be able to, they even say in here multitask, but we know you shouldn't be multitasking during a Teams meeting. Come on. But really you have the ability, if you're in expanded view, be able to raise your hand and send reactions to that. Otherwise you can go to compact view and yes, you can still do some, there's still some controls. You're just not going to see the videos, right? So you're not going to see a lot of those pieces in there. So keep that in mind with this change. It's GA now. You can even test it with this particular meeting right now just to see what's going on. All right, and I realize I should probably spotlight myself. Here we go. All right. Another Teams piece that's coming out here in July. If you're in targeted tenant, you're getting it already. If you're not, you may be getting it already, or you may be getting it soon because it's going to be early July to late July. When the recap app, now, if you're familiar with the recaps in general, right now you have 2 recaps that you could do if you have the appropriate licensing. You can do those recaps for video, and then you can do recaps for audio, right? So those pieces, AI will go and scooch through everything and figure it out and give you a recap, and it kind of sounds sometimes like a podcast, right? So those types of things. So this is happening here fairly soon for you, that you're going to see this recap app and you're going to be able to find and review and catch up on all those recaps that you have access to, or if you want to kick off that process. And you will, even if you don't have that license, you'll see some information in there. You just won't get all of it because of the AI powered pieces that you would need to have that license for. It's pre-installed, just not pinned. You can go find it once it comes available. You can just go ahead and find it in the in Teams in general. But you can filter by dates, participants, even keywords, and you can watch those audio, those videos if you need to, or listen to the audio straight from there. So big change happening there for those recaps. That I know I use them a lot, depending upon what's going on and how busy I am. So good change. All right. This has been one of those things, especially for Teams meetings, that I've been seeing a lot of. And I think there's a lot of organizations that are kind of concerned about these external bots that are coming into meetings, especially if it's a confidential meeting that you don't want to have any of that transcription or recording or any of those types of things happening. So this is giving you that capability to be able to have, for Teams to detect and label those AI bots, right? So, you know, it's really, why are they there? Why are they being used? It is that transcription and summarization capability that's coming in with that. But it's really helped, especially for those organizations that need to have control over that meeting, especially with external people. So keep that in mind. Organizers of that particular meeting will be able to approve and deny entry of those bots. As you notice in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to get that window that pops up. Additionally, in the Teams Admin Center, admins do have the ability to be able to configure how, what's going to happen when they detect a bot. Are they going to allow them in automatically or not? Or is it going to be organizer approved, right? Those types of things. And by the way, they are going to be adding more controls to this because they know this is just the start, right? So they wanted to get something out the door, help a majority of those people. We know there's use cases that are a little bit more complex. You're going to get more capability soon. Let your users and let your admins know that this is happening here. Should be happening almost now. I mean, we're talking mid-July when it's fully rolled out. So a lot of people were thumbs upping that and hearting that. So I know that is a very, very big update for everybody. All right, another big update, and this is on the Viva side, and really this is the Copilot dashboard side of things. This is out already. And the biggest thing is this is supporting a lot of the announcements wrapped around Copilot credit usage, and specifically for those organizations that are utilizing co-work heavily, right? So that's where you're going to actually have to pay for usage. And so this is the new cost management insights that there to support that, so you can understand what those costs are for those usage. This actually allows to give managers insights, gives your insights analysts, which is a role, and admins the ability to access that data as well and be able to share it out as necessary. By the way, you can export this as a CSV or even connect it to Power BI report as necessary. Let your managers know if you guys are utilizing Copilot Dashboard and Viva Insights for that, and then your users as well as necessary. All right, on the 365 app side, and specifically about PowerPoint, and I know branding is a huge, huge piece, and we actually had a session just in general about branding. But guess what? We're getting branding, or the brand kits, which is one of those things that we know that Copilot kind of lacks in as far as being able to bring that branding in. Guess what? We're getting it, and we're getting a button and everything in PowerPoint to be able to do that. So it is going to be natively in the Copilot area in that ribbon. You're going to have a choice of that brand kits that are, or the org has published those brand kits, right? And the post actually does have information about how to be able to publish that. If you've never done that before, it's part of the create area that you can get those out and have permissions to be able to make org brand kits. But bring that brand kit in, choose that brand kit. You can have multiple brand kits, or you can do your own personal brand kit as necessary for what you're trying to do. So you can add that in there, and it will use that brand kit to be able to create that PowerPoint or update that PowerPoint which you have. All right, so huge one, worldwide, going out mid-July to early August. So make sure that your end users know about that one. All right, another one that's a big deal is around Copilot, I should say, around for Copilot chat. Specifically, if you guys remember, not long ago we did Anthropic as a sub-processor. Well, we're also now doing that with OpenAI models. And this is happening. It's already started rolling out here on July 9th. It's enabled by default. It will be enabled by default on July 24th. So we got a couple weeks here to do that. Basically, you have to opt in, right? So you have to decide, yes, if I want to use OpenAI as a model in Microsoft 365, you do need to check that box and who's going to get it and get that up and running. That is going to be starting with GPT-5.6 specifically. Just make sure if you have any internal governance or compliance measures that you need to be in place before that 24th, right? Make sure that you get those in place and let your admins know what's going on. All right. Another branding piece, and I kind of talked about a little bit of this before. I might have mentioned this, but it got pushed. So the Copilot chat, the branded footer customization. So you notice in the screenshot on the bottom, approved by Contoso Electronics is the name of the company that they're using for this. So with that, they basically, you have this ability to be able to put in a logo That's it right now. That's all you get to do is put that logo in, approved by blah, right? What is it there for? Well, really to help your end users really know where they're at and what they're doing. Some organizations have let just the regular Copilot free version of chat sit on the desktop. You want to make sure that you are saying, hey, look for our logo, and this is the official version. This is the one you work on when you're working internally with your own documentation, right? By default, branded footer customization is not enabled. You can enable that as necessary within your organization. And Teresa, I will see if I can get a better screenshot of that. I just don't know. I mean, that the one in the message center post is really not that good. In fact, there was a lot of screenshots that weren't so hot this time. So
thank you. I did try looking online when I was creating the documentation, and there wasn't one of that particular.
okay,
you know, the admin. Yeah. So thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, I'll see what I got. No guarantee that we're going to get something that's going to be any better, but we'll see. All right. And then looks like Brian, does the Copilot branded footer show up everywhere? No, it's just going to be in the 365 app. Primarily, you're going to be seeing that in there. Oh, thank you, Ahmed. Perfect. Exactly. Thanks, guys, for getting Teresa that. All right. Next. This is a big one that had to come out, and it's available now, everybody. In Word, you do now have, for your legal people, the ability to use what's called the legal agent, right? So inside Microsoft Word, you will go into Copilot in there. Number one, you have to have a license even to access Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot in Word. You'll be able to then go in there, click on the plus sign, and you'll be able to see legal agent as option in there. And really what this is that AI agent to be able to help review contracts, risk identification, any clause comparisons, compare this one to another document that you have and see the differences, especially when redlining and those types of things, or even tracking changes. It does require Frontier. It is Frontier only at this point, no GA yet, but you do have to have that Copilot license, as I was mentioning before, to be able to do it. And again, you have to hit on the plus sign to see that, get in there and be able to access it. You are able to configure some aspects of it just so that you can utilize it a little bit better. So keep that in mind. It is out for Frontier and Frontier only, and you do need that Copilot license. All right. Another one that we've been waiting for, I don't know how long, early July to late July, we're getting published org prompts to Copilot chat. Yes, organizational prompts, ones that you want across particular departments, across the entire organization, things like that, that are managed by admins. That is coming here soon. And what it will allow to do is you got to get the first one in there. You get one in there, and then things start showing up. And you do have the ability to target it to different groups if necessary. So if there's one specifically for, HR department, or if there's ones for finance, or, you have this ability to be able to target at that level. As an admin, you can create, publish, and manage those, pin those, get them out there, and they show up. If you're not familiar with the change that happened recently with your prompts, right? The prompt gallery is not called prompt gallery anymore. It's called the prompt lab, and you will see that underneath your prompt area that you can click in there and get more of those. You'll see a section or a tab for org prompts. So that's important to keep that in mind. That is a change that's happened already, but this change is happening here fairly soon. Quick mentions, there's a few things that I want to make sure that you guys know about specifically. So a couple things, a lot of these are a few different changes on the Copilot side, as well as a planner one that I want to make sure I call out. So Copilot notebooks are now supporting Markdown files. If you're not familiar with Markdown files, these are files specifically that you would use for, things like skills and those types of things, or in general that Copilot, co-work, those things may be creating on your behalf. So you can utilize that as a resource in your Copilot notebooks now. On the Copilot chat side, some more usage reports, the experience as well as getting fresher data is coming here mid-July to late July. And specifically, you get it more timely usage. You're going to get overall better reporting, expanded access to metrics because they're tapping in the Graph API for this particular one. And no, you do not have to pay for that Graph API piece. That is not something that you're going to have to worry about, but it is part of what you guys already have. Additionally, in Viva, when you're measuring Copilot sentiment with Pulse, right? So Viva Pulse is another tool. You actually can have that connected and bring it directly into your Copilot dashboard. So if it's something specific about Copilot that you're throwing a survey out, then you can actually then feed that right into the dashboard and then get your information up to your managers or whatever you want to have in that case. Planner is getting a new capability or feature, I should say. A lot of times when you're going in and editing a task, they would take you to another location. Now you're actually going to get a side panel experience so that you are not moved from that board or grid or whatever you have set up. You're going to be able to do it right there without having to worry about, hey, I have to go back to it, right? So that's a big one. The other one, and I'm not sure how many of you use this, but Survey Agent, I've actually created a few surveys using the Survey Agent internally, and that's actually going to be retired starting in August 31st of this year. And with that, it does give me the ability to literally create a survey. However, what they're doing is just basically moving it into what's called Copilot in Microsoft Forms. So it's right there inside of Forms as opposed to being in the Copilot chat and using the agent to be able to create that form. So it's still giving you that ability. It's just where is it happening at? And it's not going to be in the Copilot chat that you're used to for those who are trying to do that. Additionally, we have a SharePoint web button. Now it's not static anymore, kind of static, but now we can actually have that point to Copilot SharePoint prompts, or even be able to start a Power Automate. And you notice the dates when it's coming out there. So it does update that ability to be able to create that button and use that in a SharePoint page. And then the last one, as far as quick mentions, for the longest time, we would actually have to go and find Copilot Studio updates and roadmap information by going to Microsoft directly to product group to be able to find that information out. It wasn't really readily available. Finally, we're going to be able to get Copilot Studio and agent updates into the roadmap. And if you're not familiar with the M365 roadmap, I got the link here coming shortly so that you know where to go for that. But that's big. It's available now. You'll see Copilot Studio and agent information in there now. All right. The admin actions, we got a couple of things, like number one, this one is actually going away, going tomorrow, right? We talked about SharePoint Designer 2013, gone by July 14th, that's tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you got them all out and moved to Power Platform. Notice a couple other things, what's going on there. Again, InfoPath is also the other thing. InfoPath 2013 and InfoPath Form Services next on July 14th. I think we can be done, Michelle, talking about InfoPath after
wow,
this.
that's
I know,
incredible.
That's crazy.
We said we were going to have a party. I think we'll have to save our retirement parties for our fall day.
I think so. And as I was mentioning, here is the link to the roadmap. As well as keeping up on other updates on the Community Hub. Please go there, find the ones that you want to get some updates on, and you can subscribe to those as necessary. All right. Wow, I used my full time this time. All right, good. Thank you. And I hope that was helpful for everybody. And Michelle, I think I can turn it back over to you.
All right, sounds great. I'll go ahead and share my screen. I also put one more admin action in there for you. So if you do have a Copilot license, yeah, we're bringing in OpenAI as a sub-process. So if you, it is off by default from July 9th to the 24th. However, on the 24th, it will be enabled by default. So I think it's important, read through
Yes,
it,
it is.
maybe, yeah, maybe check with your compliance legal teams to ensure it's fine for you to have it enabled or turn it off. So choice is truly yours.
Again,